Insecurities about your singing voice. You even stated that you knew you weren't the vocal favorite of Destiny's Child. Is that something that, what made you second guess?
You know what? It's not that I was second guessing. I'm just aware. You know, some people are like, oh my gosh, it stuck. They said it stuck with her. No, it didn't stick with me. You know, just sometimes you're aware that you're not everybody's favorite. And that's okay. I still got paid.
Okay. Let them know.
Yeah, I can challenge Jay-Z. Yeah. Psych. That boy's got too much skills for me, buddy. Nope.
You know, we
can rap.
We can flow so well, you know. We're gonna put out Destiny's Child album, Rapology, you know.
Yeah, I can challenge Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Psych. That boy's got too much skills for me, buddy.
Kelly Rowland has always been Becky with the great hair, or at least one of them, according to the most recent facts. A recently leaked movie claims to show Jay-Z having with Miss Kelly in 4 Kelvin. But wait, things will get better. Fans are also pointing out that Kelly's kid Titan has an uncanny resemblance to Jay-Z. They claim that the boy looks more like Jay-Z than his biological father. There is definitely a shady issue there as a result.
If 2 + 2 is 4, right? And 5 + 5 is 10, okay. What the fuck is this?
Additionally, some of Kelly's earlier lyrics that expressed her jealousy of Beyoncé are currently making a comeback. When people come clean without being asked, isn't that amazing? You would better get a chair because we are going to dismantle this whole thing. When people started debating whether or not Kelly Rowland and Jay-Z were more than just close friends, they initially commented on how odd the similarity between the two was. At first, it seemed to be just internet gossip. But things changed when Jay-Z started getting deadbeat allegations from kids who were not Beyoncé's kids.
Rymir Satterthwaite gained notoriety a few years ago after he claimed that Jay-Z had manipulated the system to avoid taking a paternity test that would have established his paternity as Jay's kid. Rymir stated that at the age of 8, he first learned that Jay-Z might be his father. He began pursuing Jay-Z as soon as he reached adulthood in an attempt to get to know him, or, at the very least, obtain a paternity test to ultimately resolve the matter. However, Jay never gave him any attention. Indeed, Jay is accused of using his power to prevent Rymir from obtaining a court order, compelling Jay to take the test.
Your father, I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like, it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have to do. Like, it's not, you don't have to prove me wrong. I just want the truth. Honestly, I can take a no. I can take, if I'm embarrassed at the end of the day, I can take that. I really can. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I could take me being embarrassed. Like, this can't take nobody not saying nothing. Like, you know, it's not fair. I was 7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now. And she been saying, Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling Jay-Z. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young. And, you know, had my little brother and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, that's...
Reports state that Jay-Z and Rymir's mother, Wanda, first hooked up in 1992. At the time, Jay-Z was known as Rock, while Wanda was known as Carmel or Precious. After being introduced at a restaurant by Wanda's friend Kalisha Allen, they met in Philadelphia. This is where things get murky, though. According to reports, Wanda was just 16, and Jay was 22 at the time of this encounter. According to a 2015 court document filed in New Jersey, Wanda alleged that she and Jay-Z had a brief relationship during which they hooked up at her aunt's Brooklyn apartment. According to her, they used protection, but it broke while they were going at it, which led to her falling pregnant. Wanda didn't see Jay-Z again until a year later when he had become famous on TV, but when she tried to contact him, he ignored her and never took responsibility for the baby. Wanda kept going to court to get Jay-Z to take a paternity test, but all her efforts went down the drain until she passed away from heart failure in 2019 when she was only 43 years old. When Wanda was unable to care for Rymir due to illness, Rymir's godmother, Lily, was granted custody of him. She continued to push for Rymir's answers and for Jay-Z to accept responsibility for his kid after Wanda passed away. We can all picture how that has gone thus far though. But here's the thing, Jay-Z reportedly did not ignore them at all. Lily claims that at one time he raised their spirits and even had his people contact them as though he was at last attempting to do what was right for his son. But he abruptly betrayed them and went radio quiet just as they were beginning to feel hopeful. Regarding this, Lily revealed the truth by stating, "I got a call from his in-house lawyer and they were very helpful and we thought we would resolve this privately. They even talked about Rymir's music talent and whether it was a good time to put him on his record label, but he had to finish high school. So I said no." Suddenly, different lawyers got involved and their attitude completely changed. I think they realized there was more at stake for Sean, given that Wanda was allegedly underage. Many people concurred with Lily that Jay-Z was reluctant to come out because he supposedly got Wanda pregnant when she was just 16 years old. It is not as though Wanda was suing him for SA or anything, so it still does not make sense. All she wanted was for her son to meet his dad. According to current rumors, Jay-Z may have had other kids outside of Rymir. It is said that it is impossible to overlook the striking similarity between Jay and Titan, Kelly's first son. To put things in perspective, Kelly married Tim Weatherspoon in 2014, and the two welcomed Titan, their first child, that same year. What else occurred in 2014, do you know? Indeed, Solange was going all out for Jay-Z in the elevator. The reason behind Solange's outburst at Jay, while Beyoncé merely stood there staring at it, was never explained to us. However, a few possibilities have been proposed. The one that appears to be circulating right now is the one where Beyoncé and Solange discovered that Jay was deceiving Kelly, as if he could have picked anyone else, and it would still be a horrible thing to do. However, it was way below the belt to go after Beyoncé's childhood pal. It is said that Solange simply could not handle it. In typical Carter Knowles fashion, they tried to get ahead by releasing a statement saying everything was fine and they were just one big happy family. However, it is evident that Beyoncé was not pleased because 2 years later, she released a shocking album in which she revealed all Jay-Z had done to her. Beyoncé essentially attacks Jay-Z in the album for betraying her, hurting her, and making her look bad. In the song Sorry, she also introduced the famous Becky with the good hairline, which led to a heated discussion about who this Becky was that lasted for years. For Becky, there were other contenders. Fans were wildly speculating about everyone from Rita Ora to Rachel Roy. The notion that Kelly Rowland might be Becky with the nice hair, however, was the one surprise that no one anticipated. Fans, however, believe that there are simply too many coincidences to overlook. Solange allegedly discovered that Kelly had become pregnant, and that Jay or her husband might be the father when she spotted Jay-Z having an affair with her. This is where things get murky though. Rumor has it that Kelly did not even feel sorry for this, which permanently damaged her relationship with Beyoncé. Some have even conjectured that Kelly and Bey had to maintain appearances in order to keep the public from knowing that there was a great deal of turmoil occurring behind the scenes. How embarrassing, after all, would it be if the reports were accurate? It is unpleasant work to have a child by your childhood friend's spouse. Of all the women you have been accused of hooking up with, nothing is more heinous than hooking up with your wife's childhood pal. As you are all aware, Jay-Z has been embroiled in a number of scandals with various women. There are even claims that he maintains a harem of side ladies in his favorite cities that he pays to visit. There were allegations of a few years ago that Solange had caught Jay-Z attempting to give his number to a woman at a restaurant. The woman was identified as Liv, a model and rapper. Later, Liv shared her side of the tale, and I can assure you that it was outrageous. Liv said Solange came walking up out of nowhere. I thought I was about to get my butt whooped, so I backed off quickly. She has been guarding her sister's property since day one. Bey doesn't even have to say anything. Solange is a beast. I can't believe I dodged a whooping from Solange that day. She was a big reason why I left him alone. She gave me a look of death. Very scary. Liv subsequently released a song called Sorry, Mrs. Carter, which contained lyrics that seemed to be an apology for hooking up with Jay-Z, as if that was not shady enough. For instance, one phrase stated, "Your man, he likes model chicks. He likes all naturally flawless model chicks like me." She also rapped, "Us two attracted like some magnets, and us crossing paths was no accident. When I stepped out of his life, I took a piece of his heart. I know he still closes his eyes and sees me in the dark." And it only represents one of the dozens of women who are purportedly Jay's side chicks. As an example, there have been long-standing allegations that Jay-Z dated Foxy Brown in the past, and he still dates her regularly. He has apparently been funding her and even has her on his payroll. She blew out on everyone last year for implying that she was linked with Jay-Z, but many thought that just showed how accurate the accusations were for her to become so upset about them. Anyway, let us get back to Kelly. Rumor has it that Kelly initially began seeing Jay-Z in order to exact revenge on Beyoncé for her jealousy of her. As you can see, Destiny's Child was not gaining much popularity in its early years. Because they were not selling quickly enough, they would compete and lose, and they even lost their first record deal. However, when Beyoncé's father, Matthew Knowles, took over as manager, everything was different. After Matthew secured their Columbia Records contract, everything took off. The girls honed their skills and improved as artists and performers under Matthew's rigorous guidance. In addition to helping with the girls' hair and appearance, Bey's mother, Tina, even created some of their performance attire herself.
The typical stage mother who's there all of the time, interfering, meddling.
I hear the comment all the time, Guy, you are nothing like I heard you were. You are really a nice person.
However, Kelly in particular did not enjoy Beyoncé's parents' intense engagement with Destiny's Child. There were reports that Matthew bullied Kelly because she was darker skinned than the other members. It is said that he would take her ideas and pass them off as Beyoncé's. Additionally, he would force her to dress less elegantly than the other girls and ignore her in favor of Beyoncé. Bey could not truly control her father's actions because they were still children, but they were also old enough to see that he was not treating Kelly fairly. However, Bey never backed Kelly. She allegedly took advantage of her father's partiality to ensure that Kelly and the other girls understood she was the group's star.
Insecurities about your singing voice. You even stated that you knew you weren't the vocal favorite of Destiny's Child. Is that something that, what made you second guess?
You know what? It's not that I was second guessing. I'm just aware. You know, some people are like, oh my gosh, it stuck. They said it stuck with her. No, it didn't stick with me. You know, just sometimes you're aware that you're not everybody's favorite. And that's okay. I still got paid.
Okay.
They became resentful of each other as a result, and Kelly quickly came to the conclusion that staying in the group would prevent her from realizing her full potential. Following Destiny's Child's eventual breakup, the girls made the decision to pursue careers on their own. According to rumors, Kelly and Bey were now headed to become two of the most attractive R&B girls of their era. However, Matthew allegedly attempted to blackball Kelly's career after stepping in once more. According to reports, he would either prevent or reroute any contract that was intended for Kelly to Beyoncé. Kelly ultimately had enough by 2013, and her album, Talk a Good Game, revealed her feelings. Kelly shared her feelings of being in a relationship with a toxic man, feeling that her career was not good enough, and being jealous of Beyoncé in one of the songs from the album, Dirty Laundry. She said, and because she did not hold back, the record was hailed as Kelly's most honest. But Bey's admirers could not help but notice how she expressed feeling both regretful about Beyoncé's success and resentful of her. Many individuals also began to speculate if Kelly was referring to Jay-Z. When fans searched, they were unable to locate any of the men Kelly had dated in the past who appeared to be the ones touching her. Furthermore, one of her ex-boyfriends came forward and denied being the one she was referring to. As a result, there were rumors that the man might have been a secret lover and that Kelly would have been afraid to tell anyone for fear of the controversy. Considering how much attention Bey and Jay-Z have been receiving lately, there have been speculations that Jay-Z and Kelly were spotted skulking around in 4K. This footage may validate Beyoncé's suspicions, which she has reportedly held for some time, and if it does, there will be a huge scandal that will shake the industry like nothing we have ever seen.
However, do you believe that the accusations that Jay-Z was Kelly's secret lover are true? Do you too believe that Kelly's relationship with Bey was wrecked by her jealousy? Leave a comment below with your ideas, and then watch this next video.